So here it is, the big question. As the employer, are you going to train your people to drive forklifts? Now, you might be thinking this is about company policy or maybe your budget, but the reality, it goes way, way deeper than that. The truth is, this decision has kind of already been made for you. See, we're not just talking about a best practice here. This is a fundamental legal and financial responsibility. And the risk of getting it wrong, that falls squarely on your shoulders as the employer. So let's break down exactly what that means. First things first, let's talk about your legal duty. And I want to be crystal clear about this. This is not optional. It is a non-negotiable mandate from the Occupational Safety and Health Administration. You know them as OSHA. And let's look at the specific language, because this comes directly from federal law. It says the employer, that's you, shall ensure each operator is competent. Notice it doesn't say the employee needs to show up with their own certificate. The responsibility legally starts and ends with the company. So what does that actually look like? Well, OSHA breaks it down into a 4-step process you have to follow. 1, you have to provide the training. 2, you have to make sure that training is specific to your workplace. 3, you personally have to evaluate their performance. And 4, only after you've done all that can you certify that they're competent. Okay, this is a huge point, and it's one that trips up a lot of employers. Let's say you hire someone and they've already got a forklift certificate from their last job. Great, that's a good start. But, and this is a big but, it is not enough. You are still legally required to provide your own site-specific training and do your own evaluation. Why? Because that piece of paper from their old job doesn't transfer the liability away from you. So let's make the stakes crystal clear. If an accident happens, a near miss, an injury, or, God forbid, something worse, and the operator involved wasn't properly trained and certified by you for your facility, who's on the hook for that? You are. OSHA citations and fines, they get issued to the company, not the individual employee. The entire legal and financial burden for failing to train your people properly rests with the business, period. So, we've established it's a legal must-do. But honestly, beyond just checking a compliance box, this is about building a better, stronger business. Proper training isn't just an expense you have to deal with. It's genuinely one of the smartest investments you can make in your whole operation. Let's actually look at the return on that investment. You invest in training, you get a real safety culture. That means fewer accidents, sure, but look at the ripple effect. In your operations, a safer workforce is a more confident and productive one. They move faster, handle materials more smoothly, and the cost reduction? It's huge. Fewer incidents mean lower insurance premiums. Less damage to your equipment means fewer repair bills. You see, safety and efficiency, they're really two sides of the same coin. Okay, so we get the why. It's a legal duty and a smart investment. The next logical question is, of course, the how. So let's explore the different paths you can actually take to build an effective, compliant training program for your company. You've basically got 2 main models to choose from. First, you can develop your own in-house program. The huge advantage here is that you can tailor it perfectly to your facility, your equipment, your specific challenges. The key, though, is making sure your trainer really knows their stuff. The other option is to hire an external provider. This can be a fantastic fit, especially for smaller teams. You get that broad industry expertise, though you might give up a little flexibility on schedule. So you might be wondering, where does online training fit into all this? Well, it's a really powerful tool, but you have to understand its specific role. Online courses are great for covering the formal instruction part of the requirement. You know, the classroom-style learning, the theory, the videos. Think of it as one crucial piece of the puzzle, but not the whole puzzle. And I really need you to hear this loud and clear. Online training by itself is not enough to be OSHA compliant. It absolutely 100% must be followed up with hands-on, practical training and a performance evaluation on your actual equipment in your facility. Without that hands-on piece, your operators are not legally certified. It's a non-starter. All right, finally, let's talk about what happens after the initial training is done. Getting your operators certified is the immediate goal, of course, but maintaining that standard and building a real culture of safety for the long haul, that's what truly protects your people and your business. You've probably heard people talk about a forklift license, right? But what even is that? Well, in OSHA's eyes, there's no such thing as some official government-issued license. That license is just the common term for the certification document that you, the employer, issue once an operator has passed your training and your evaluation. For your workplace, you are the one doing the certifying.
And that means when an OSHA inspector shows up, they're not just going to ask to see a wallet card. They're going to want to see your whole safety program, your training materials, the detailed records that prove each and every operator was properly trained and evaluated by you. When it comes to compliance, documentation is everything.
And remember, certification is not a one-and-done deal. Refresher training is legally required if certain things happen, like an operator is in an accident, or you see them driving unsafely, or they get assigned to a totally new type of truck. And even if everything is perfect, you still have to do a performance evaluation at least once every 3 years. Safety is an ongoing process, not a destination.
So we end up right back where we started with the same question, but hopefully a much clearer perspective. After seeing the legal mandates, the operational returns, the safety benefits, is proper forklift training an expense, or is it a core investment in the safety, efficiency, and the long-term health of your entire company? The evidence makes the answer pretty obvious, doesn't it? The only real question left is, can you afford not to do it right?